I saw people talking to each other. I saw neighbors talking to each other, and it seemed to me like a community. And that's really, what I wanted to be in. I wanted to be in a place where I felt like I was home. And Alexandria has provided that for me. And, like the first day I moved in, I was waiting for the people to come over to, get an estimate for my hardwood floors. And then some people across the street came over and introduced themselves and told me I could borrow their lawnmower if they needed, if I needed to, because of course you're just moving into, a townhouse and you don't have lawnmowers or equipment or things like that. So, it was an automatic, welcome to the neighborhood. I mean, it really does. I mean, it's a neighborhood where it makes me, like I said, it makes me feel like, I'm home, and I have made it into my home. And I think Alexandria as a city and Delray as a community are a place where you can be as involved as you want to be or as uninvolved as you want to be. And Delray was a neighborhood that I was able to get involved in right away by volunteering. And volunteering has, I would say that volunteering has done more for me than I've done for it. Nancy Dunning said to me, she said, I want you to join the Delray Business Association, and I want you to come to the meetings. And I did that, and then she told me, I want you to get on the board or get on the marketing committee for the Delray Business Association. But at the time, it was called the Potomac West Business Association. So from that point, I went on, to join the Business Association. I went on the marketing committee, and the next thing I knew, I was running First Thursdays. So, and it's just gone, it's just gone from there. And some of the closest and best relationships, the best friendships that I have come from volunteering. And I've met so many people, and it's just amazing. I mean, it really does do more for me than I do for it. I was talking to Dana Lawhorn, who is now the sheriff of Alexandria, last night, as a matter of fact, and we were in a group of people, and I said, Dana, I remember the first time that I met you. It was at Art on the Avenue, and you had on this, ugly orange hat, but you stood out. And so I went up and introduced myself to you, and at that time you worked for the police department. And, he's a funny guy. And, from that point on, I've seen him, I've done, different things with him. He became the sheriff. He was, bringing, prisoners out or inmates out sometimes to help us with, the luminarias and things like that. So I think, if you just look at the different things that you do, pretty much for me, most of the things go back to, meeting somebody on the street somewhere, and we were just doing something, and that's we forged friendships from there. Yeah, it is 20 years, isn't it? Oh, it is. Exactly. Yeah, I just think that people are more energized. People understand how great a community Delray is, and I think that I just look at it, and I look at people supporting the local businesses, and those local businesses giving back, and just the kids walking to school, and before the city of Alexandria, we didn't have a lot of kids that went to that school in Delray and Mount Vernon. They used to bus the kids from the other side of a town to the school, and now it's just, I love watching the families walking their kids to school, because to me, schools build community. And so all those things, it's just, it's just a very robust community. I say it's small but mighty. I have had a good friend, Patty Miller, who actually owned a really small real estate company right behind St. Elmo's in Delray, and she was separating from her business partner. She ran the residential side, and he ran the commercial side. My background was in startups. I was in the restaurant business before I got into real estate, and so she asked me if I would come in and help her to start her new company, and I said I would love to do that, and in return, if you could teach me, contracts and how to be a real estate agent. I thought with my customer service background that I could, if I approached real estate that way, that I could possibly be successful. I see people, I help them buy houses, I watch them as a young couple, then they get married, they have babies, I've watched their kids grow up. I have folks that I live next to on Bellefonte who've moved to other places, their kids are now in college. And so, again, I can pretty much walk anywhere in Delray and I would see somebody that I know, whether I help them buy a house or just know them from the neighborhood. I do sell houses for a living, but the most important thing is that I make sure that I'm trying to help someone find the house that works best for them. And I talk a lot of people out of buying houses. So that is, and I think that served me well, to be honest with people. Well, right now I'm getting ready to start my 12th season of Cinema Del Rey, which is something that, we started, because we weren't going to be able to have a home and garden tour because we were doing it every year in Del Rey, and then it just became too hard to get people to do it every year. So we wanted to do something. We didn't want to just say we're not going to have an event. So let's say, we would have an outdoor movie. So I am going to credit that to Justin Wilson. He always reminds me that was his idea. So we had a movie that one Saturday, and we didn't expect anybody to come. It started to get dark, and then I see all these people coming with strollers and everything. So we did that one movie that year, and I thought it was such a great thing that I decided I would do it the next year. And the next year I did it four times, so once a month for May, June, July, and August. And now we do it May through September. I started out with a 14-foot screen, and this year we'll have a 30-foot screen. I've got 2 popcorn machines. I've got, we come out and we do sodas and everything, give out glow sticks to the kids. But again, that's one of the things that, the kids, they'll see me on the street. They say, hey, what are the movies going to be? I have parents tell me that, this is going to be one of their kids' best memories. And, I love seeing the kids come out and just run around the playground, and then, the movie comes on, and, just people just love it. And it really is. It's such a great thing. And again, it's a community event. It's not the drive-in movie, it's the sit-in movie. And again, I think it's a really cool thing. Now, 13 years ago, you didn't see very many people do movies outside, but now it's a huge thing. We do it at Mount Vernon Rec Center at the corner of Mount Vernon and Commonwealth Avenue. And, and I've forged a really great relationship with the rec center. They help us by, staying open at night. And then, in return, I do things for them. And, again, they believe that, they believe in what we're doing as far as showing movies, because, again, it is about the community. It's not about me as a real estate agent. I don't have signs out there saying Jen Walker Realtor. This is about Cinema Del Rey and the kids and the community and everybody coming out. And we have people come from Fairfax County and, Arlington and, all over. But it's nice to see just, families walking down the street carrying their chairs, and, people set up picnics. And remember, and this is when I used to set up Cinema Del Rey by myself. I saw this little girl. She was on a little scooter, and she scooted down, and she said, hey, can you tell me what the movie is tonight? And I said, sure. And I told her what the movie was, and then she left, and she came back, and she goes, I'm sorry, do you need any help? And she has been helping me ever since. She was at that time in the 3rd grade. She's getting ready to graduate from T.C. Williams High School. We're still friends. She comes to every movie night, Lucy, and she is just amazing. And again, I think, that was kind of in her blood, even though she was only in the 3rd grade. But there's also a group that I just spoke to of young children. They're in elementary school, and I have these signs that I've started putting out around Del Rey and the city of Alexandria, and it says, spread kindness, build community. And they called me and asked me if I could come and talk to them. And they wanted to know, could we do something like, could we make some t-shirts, spread kindness, build community, because they want to do things like that, and could I give them some ideas of some things to do? So we talked, and we're going to set up a walk around Del Rey, where they're going to, have people come out, and we're going to try to do a service day where they pick up trash and, try to clean the park and different things like that. And also it'll be a time when, we talked about how you can make other friends or get other people involved. So it's like, let's not hang out in groups where we already know the people, but let's pick someone who's doing the walk that we've never met and, befriend them and see what else we can do. And maybe they have ideas to help us make, the neighborhood better. And I think all of us, just if we do just a little bit, we can always make somebody's day a little bit better. I'm blessed. I mean, to be in a community there where I have people that I can look up to, like Gail Reuter and Carol Bailey and Pat Miller, and I just follow in their footsteps and try to keep up with them. And if I can, give in any way to just try to make someone else's day better, it in return makes my day better.